humbled that you're all here to listen to me. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the talk. So yes, thank you for the intro. I work at Sigmoid, where we're focused on solving complex problems and providing enterprise-grade scalable systems for our customers. Let me just go to it. When the AIM team reached out to me to sort of talk about the skill gap, the first thing that sort of came to my mind was really this song by the singer Bob Dylan. And I'm sure a lot of you might have heard of Bob Dylan. He's one of the most prolific singers from the 60s. He's a Pulitzer Prize winner. He's won Nobel Prize for Literature as well. The Times Are A-Changing is one of his more famous songs. It was reflective of the time. It was more related to, there was a time of revolution, really. And there's a line over there, really. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. And I think that really echoes the tech landscape that we're in, where we've been in a state of constant change and very rapid innovation for not just the last couple of years, but for a long period of time. If I go into my own journey, I started working in 2007, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I thought, okay, work hard for a few years, master the skills, become an expert in the field, and then I can sit pretty and tell everyone else what to do. I've got it sorted. Started off in data science. It was a very challenging field. It was something I think fit well with my skill sets. It involved a lot of brainstorming, identifying patterns, coming up with hypotheses, testing those hypotheses, and sharing those results. So, a lot of thinking, a lot of researching. You're not too bothered, a very peaceful sort of industry. Kind of involved a strong foundation of quantitative skills and consulting, right, when we started off. I wouldn't put in coding over there because you could get by with being a really bad coder. Used a little bit of SAS and SQL when I started off. Over some period of time, around 2012, there was an article that came out by Thomas Davenport and DJ Patel, which claimed data science is the sexiest job of the 20th century, and there was an explosion. It suddenly came into the limelight. It became a big buzz. Us data scientists who like being sort of in the shadows and doing our own thing was suddenly kind of, there was too much focus and too much pressure on us. Around the same time, Coursera came out as well, which was really great because it opened up that, a gamut of learning opportunities for everyone. A few years down the line, by 2014, we'd gotten to the big data revolution. Cloud came in. Now I couldn't get away with being a bad coder. I had to code. By then, I had already stopped using SAS, learned R, was running models in R, and now there was a new language that was sort of gaining popularity called Python. So there was a lot of NoSQL platforms as well that we had to get used to. 10 years later, today in 2024, it's not just about maths or consulting, coding or cloud. There's also, we need to understand how that model is placed in the entire architecture, how it's going to run, how it's going to be productionized. So there's MLOps involved, there's DevOps, there's APIs connecting to it, there's a ton of frameworks and libraries, OpenAI, Flask, etc. There's so many tools and platforms, and every day there are new ones coming up, new technologies. So I'm right, I've never stopped being a learner. I'm still a beginner. I'm still kind of understanding new things, right? And this journey is not dissimilar to many other people in my field. So anyone who has about 14 years of experience or more would have learned at least 2 or 3 programming languages during their career. And if you ask them, hey, have you worked on this? They would say, hey, no, not really, but I can figure it out in a month. Or, no, I don't think so, but I can work with the team who's working on it. Because we've sort of been in that state of constant evolution and picking up new technologies. So the question that comes is that has so much innovation happened in the last 10 years? And if we really think about it, concepts of data science, right, collecting data, interpreting data, and using those results actually goes back right into the 15th or 16th century. There's a really nice timeline which charts out the history of data science, which was made by 2 thoughtful people, Fabio and Hazel. And it starts off, so neural nets, which forms the basis of artificial intelligence, started off in the 1940s, right? So that is a lot of time for experts to develop in the field. Hadoop was formed in 2005. You have a lot of people familiar with the Microsoft stack, your Power BI, Azure, etc., around 2015 or so. So this means that you do have a lot of time to develop those skills, to hone those skills, and to build expertise. So why is there really a skill gap? If we look at some of the, so this was based on a survey done in 2023, so maybe the number is not relevant today, but the sentiment would remain the same. So a lot of leaders and business executives do see that talent shortage in their organizations is a significant barrier to emerging technology. And at the same time, we do see that a lot of employees on the other side also feel that pressure, that they feel that they're not able to keep up with the latest technology or the relevant skill set which they feel makes them marketable, right? And anyone who's sort of looked at a job portal of late would see a myriad of job roles, right? And all of them sort of seem to ask for the same tech stack, the same solution space. So it's very confusing and confounding for anyone who's trying to navigate a career over here. Going back to what I'd said earlier, where in 2012 Coursera came out. Okay, yeah, before I get there, maybe we can talk about some of the challenges that this has compounded, right? So, of course, it's difficult to fill positions. You have very long hiring cycles, which doesn't help in an industry where you have a very short span of technology innovating. So by the time you get the right resource, the technology has evolved even further. Reskilling employees is a constant exercise, and it also requires a lot of investment. And something very common in our field, employees don't like to sit idle because they feel they're getting obsolete. So they want to work on the cutting edge technology. If you take the example of AI, Gen AI has, it's a big buzz right now, but less than 90% of the solutions out there is run by is AI driven. A lot of it is still classical ML. Of course, this is going to change and evolve, but most of the workforce are more interested in using more relevant skills related to AI than the not so interesting ML skills, right? And if you're always kind of trying to play catch up, there's no time for innovation. If we go to, say, this is a very small snapshot of, say, some of the material out there. So you have no dearth of courses, of MOOCs, of videos, of Instagram handles where you can learn and pick up these skills, right? And take any deadline you have, whether it's 10 days, 30 days, 100 days, 300 days, you will find a training plan or a course where you can learn that information in that time, right? So become a data scientist in 20 days, become a data scientist in 100 days, become a data scientist in 50 days. Whenever I see these ads or videos, it really takes me back to this comic by the abstruse goose. This was made in 2012, so he's talking about C++, but I think the principle really translates, where he says that this is the easiest way to teach yourself C++ in 21 days. So you take 21 days and you learn all the concepts. So you basically understand what the concepts are in 21 days. After that, it takes about 2 years to kind of apply those concepts, iterate, and hone your knowledge of them, right? And then it takes about another 8 years. So you spend the next 8 years or so interacting with other people because you need other perspectives, right? You learn from others, and it helps to refine your knowledge of it. And that's when you can build you can call yourself an expert, and then you use the rest of your time to basically invent a time machine and go back to those 21 days, right, and replace your former self. We don't have 1 year to become an expert, forget 10. So how do we really navigate, right? Let's take a step back and think really, what is changing? Businesses are not changing. Their objectives remain the same, right? Their focus is to drive revenue, lower costs, and basically meet the needs or requirements of their customers most of the time. But if that is not changing, what has? Technology is essentially an enabler. So we have tools and techniques which helps them achieve their goals faster and more efficiently, or given the massive data revolution that we have experienced, actually use some of the insights over there to make data-driven decisions. Again, help them achieve a goal through that method, right? So this means that the foundation sort of remains the same, right? You have quantitative skills, as long as you have a solid foundation over there, some programming knowledge, and knowledge of the algorithms, or some of the, if it's engineering, maybe more of the architectures that are involved. That doesn't change irrespective of the tool or the platform that is coming out, or the technology. What changes then is how you apply those. So every tool, every platform, every technique has been developed with a specific purpose or an objective in mind. It can definitely be used in other ways, but you need to understand what is the limitations, what are the places it might not work so well, and how to cleverly customize it for your objective, right? So the ability to think, analyze, question, is this the right approach? What am I doing wrong? Can I do it in a different way? Becomes very important. The second thing which kind of fuels that, really drives that, is problem solving, right? So you keep that goal in mind. How do you get there? How many ways can I get there? How do I overcome every challenge? A growth mindset, because we're constant learners, and of course high agency, which just keeps you motivated, and instead of waiting for a perfect environment, you're able to iterate, get a version 1, build a little bit better, and get a version 2. So we work in a very agile environment, and we need the skills to be able to drive that. This is how we can really navigate the tech skill gap, because if you have this, with, of course, a strong foundation, you can pick up any of the technologies, and more importantly than picking it up, know and efficiently, rightly use it, apply it in the right space, right? And how can these strategies really help, right? So where can these skills be applied? On top of this, you need the right environment wherein you can apply them. So really fostering an environment of continuous learning, both at every level in the organization, is important. For juniors, it's very easy to spot skill gaps because their focus is more on hard skills. For seniors, it might not be so apparent, but it is equally important so that they understand what is the right technology and they're able to strategize and use it correctly and guide their juniors, right? While experience is very, very valued and the wisdom that comes with experience is very important, experience by itself might not be relevant in a very quickly evolving environment. So kind of having the right skills and just kind of going back, having the right foundation and the right mindset wherein you can adapt quickly to the landscape becomes important. So focus, what is the priority for your organization? What are the most important skills that you are looking for? And hiring from that perspective, I think, becomes more and more important, right? In terms of learning or providing training to your workforce, it's, I think, very, very important to teach people how to learn and not what to learn. Because if you teach them how to learn, then they'll be able to pick up the second thing. So structured learning, wherein there's a training and then you sort of, maybe you do an assignment or something, might not always work over here. Going back to the wisdom of abstruse goose, it's about applying that information. So one of the ways we like to do it at Sigmoid is you take a single problem and you identify how many ways you can solve it. And how can you improve that? What is your success criteria for that? And how can you improve that in each way, right? That really teaches you the knowledge of the algorithm, how to apply it, and what are the limitations, right? Rotational assignments, very helpful because it helps to bring that perspective, helps people to also test their own skills in different environments. And really, I think the most important comes down to learning through community. So when you plan your workforce, you can plan a mix of experts, technical experts, business experts, consultants, and generalists. And together they can learn from each other, right? It's a little more tricky when you have a hybrid or a remote environment, so you really need to identify or create forums where that can happen, or otherwise it happens very, very organically when you're in the same physical space. But really having that environment where people are focused on learning. And the great thing is that in data science, in the world we are in today, everyone is focused on learning, in understanding different perspectives, and in trying to pick up new skills and learn from each other. And I think that really, because collectively you can close that skill gap where it's not possible to do it with just one person. So what does the future really hold? And I think that we are not really done with the tech evolution. It is going to be more rapid. We are going to see more innovation happening, right? And as the technology becomes more complex, the need for specialists is only going to increase. So you would have people who are focused more on specific areas. What this really means is that you would need to connect the dots more closely between, say, the real world, the business objectives, and technology, right? And that's a great position because it allows for more diversity, it allows for more perspectives to come in and contribute. And this is, but the main skills will remain: critical thinking, resilience, growth mindset, and all of it just powered through by high agency. So yeah, I think that's about it. So thank you, and just a little bit on my perspective on how to really navigate the skill gap.